will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lumada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lumada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lumada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you for being here with me. I am glad you're here. Happy Monday, wherever you are. I hope that you have a lovely one. I hope that you had a great weekend indeed, just like Baby Bia say. Hope everybody had a lovely weekend, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I'm glad that you're here with us today for a wonderful story. Another week of amazing books awaits. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you are well. I've seen that the weather is keeps changing everywhere. Out here in Oakland, it is going to be hot today. It was hot yesterday too. We're looking at, I think, about close to 80 for the day, for the high of the day, and so looking forward to that, but also making sure that we stay hydrated. Please remember to use your sunscreen, everything else that is needed to be safe out there in the heat. And wherever you are, I hope that you know you are prepared for the conditions that you're in. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and welcome. Loving it. Bittersweet week this one as we come to the end of our school year out here in Oakland. Wednesday is the last day, and I will miss my kids indeed, but also happy to have a break and just enjoy and rejuvenate. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad you're here with me today, and we'll bring back a special book and talking about end of the school year and people going into the summer break and all things that they'll be doing. One of those things that will be, that's our focus for this week, looking at what is it that we'll be doing this summer, what can we do. And of course, if you're staying home, it is totally fine. If you're making new friends, that's totally fine too. If you're going to camp, summer camp, or wherever you're going, science camp, anything, I hope that you create new friendships that will last you a lifetime. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and that is our story for today. Caspian finds a friend. Yes, there are times you just have to reach out to find that friend. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. This one comes to you from Jacqueline, Veissid, and illustrations by Merrilees Brown. Yes, another one that is coming back to Storytime after a long time indeed. Thank you so much for joining in, and good morning. Let me see if I can just catch it right there. Caspian finds a friend, and this one we're reading with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And also do look out for Chronicle Books. We will be having the summer release that will be coming out, and so we'll be bringing the latest from them. Do keep your ears open. Do look out for those. They are coming. Wonderful books promised to you. Thank you so much for joining in, and welcome. Let us see who is with us this morning, ready to enjoy that lovely, lovely story. Good morning to you, Baby Bia and Amanda. Glad you're here. And you say good morning from Baby Bia and I in Seattle. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Well, I did. I hope that everybody else did too. Thank you so much for asking. And say we were drenched in sunshine yesterday, but today is supposed to be cloudy with some rain showers. Oh my goodness, what a change. I hope that you enjoy it though. I hope that you are well. I am glad that you're here with us on Storytime through changing weather, still here with us together. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning. Good morning. Chrissy, how are you doing today? And of course, Bowden. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us out in Vermont, where it is slightly chilly today. Well, thank you for being here. And that juicy pear sounds delicious. Yes, it sounds like the perfect snack for story time today. Thank you so much for joining in, Bowden and Chrissy out in Vermont. Thank you so much for joining us. Please enjoy the day. And of course, before then, let us enjoy this lovely book together. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome. Good morning to you out in Vermont. Good morning to you, Amanda West, and good morning to you, Sarah and Nathan in sunny and cool Illinois. Well, thank you so much for joining in. Welcome, welcome. I hope that you had a lovely weekend and glad to see you here with us on Storytime. Yes, sending you hugs and love. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you. And I hope everybody's feeling great. Hope everybody's feeling well. I think it was you, Nate, that wasn't feeling too well last week. I hope that you're healing up and feeling stronger. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to Storytime. Good morning to you, Pamela, Courtney. How are you doing? And of course, Braylon and Chad from Natchitoches in Louisiana. Well, thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you and welcome, welcome indeed to Storytime. I am excited to share this one, and this one is called Caspian Finds a Friend. And yes, and tomorrow's story, Braylon, I promise you will be a longer one picked out just for you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad you are here. Caspian Finds a Friend. This one coming to you from Jacqueline, Veissid, and illustrations by Merrilees Brown, and read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Get comfortable, get cozy, get ready for our story today. Join me on the other side of this short message, and we'll be getting started with our book. Go, 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 get your snack, get comfortable, get ready. See you on the other side of this short message. Thank you for being here with us today on Storytime.
Hi, my name is Zetta Elliott, and I am the author of 40 books for kids, including Dragons in a Bag and A Place Inside of Me. You're watching Storytime with Mr. LaMotta.
Thank you so much, Zita, and of course Zita Elliott, just amazing author. If you don't know much about Zita Elliott, find the interview that we did on the Storytime platforms. It is there. It was wonderful, and Zita got to share with us her story, her writing process, and everything. And right now, if you haven't read her young adult authors series, you should. And the latest one is called Witch's Apprentice, and it is set in the Chicago area. Beautiful book. Please do check it out. All right, for today, Caspian Finds a Friend, and this one is coming to you from Jacqueline, Veissid, and illustrations by Merrilees Brown. And of course, we're reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Get ready. Caspian Finds a Friend by Jacqueline Veissid, illustrations by Merrilees Brown, read with permission by the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Caspian lives in a lighthouse surrounded by a cold gray blue sea. Every day he watches the waves, wondering, waiting, wishing for a friend. Will somebody come? Caspian lives in a lighthouse surrounded by a gray-blue sea. Every day he watches the waves, wondering, waiting, wishing for a friend. Every night, he casts his light out into the darkness, searching. But no one arrives, just the sea and the skies. And so He waits. Until one day, he has a new thought. He hurries home to find paper and pencil. On his table sits a bottle with flowers. He empties it, rolls up his paper, and slips it inside. What do you think Caspian is going to do? One day, he has a thought, a new thought. He hurries home to find paper and pencil. On his table sits a bottle with flowers. He empties it, rolls up his paper, and slips it inside. Then, down to the wide open sea he runs and throws the bottle in. He watches it float away, farther and farther, and it gets smaller and smaller. Down to the wide open sea he runs and throws the bottle in. He watches it float away, farther and farther, and it gets smaller and smaller. Days sink into weeks, weeks into months. He waits and waits, his hopes bobbing like a bottle on the waves. Days sink into weeks, and weeks into months. But he's patient. He waits and waits, his hopes bobbing like a bottle on the waves. Early one morning, Caspian notices a glistening nestled in the rocks. What could it be? What is it? He slowly uncorks the bottle and pulls out a piece of paper. Only one word is written. What is that word? Only one word is written. He races to his little rowboat and pushes out to sea. Day fades into night, and still he keeps rowing and rowing. That's a far away place to go. Day fades into night, and still he keeps rowing and rowing. Oh, the strength it takes. The stars shimmer to life, illuminating the darkness. Caspian lies down in his boat and looks up, watching, wondering, wishing, and slowly falls asleep, his dreams drifting on a gentle sea. The stars shimmer to life, illuminating the darkness. Caspian lies down in his boat and looks up, watching, wondering, wishing, and slowly falls asleep, his dreams drifting on a gentle sea. That sounds like a cool place to fall asleep, doesn't it? At first blush of dawn, Caspian wakes. In the distance, he sees something floating towards him. What could it be? What would you do if the first thing you saw was something floating towards you? Would you run? Would you roll away? Our first blash of dawn, Caspian wakes. In the distance, he sees something floating towards him. What could it be? What could it be? It gets closer and closer. Who could it be? Oh, my pages are stuck. There we go. And it gets bigger and bigger. Look at Caspian's surprise. Surprise face. The thing gets closer and closer, bigger and bigger. The bear's eyes are warm and gentle. He slowly lifts up a piece of paper. Will you be my friend? Caspian holds up his. And it says just the one word. Yes! Will you be my friend? Yes. Together, they travel across a sparkling sunlit sea, back to the lighthouse, back home. Together, they travel across a sparkling sunlit sea, back to the lighthouse, back home. And that is the end of our story today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Massive appreciations to each and every one of you. And I hope that you enjoyed this lovely story that was coming back to Storytime after a long time indeed. This one is called Caspian Finds a Friend. And this one came to you from Jacqueline Veissid and illustrations by Merrilees Brown and read with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Big thank you to them for allowing us to bring this wonderful book here to Storytime. I hope you enjoyed it and the encouragement for the days that indeed sometimes we do need to make that first step, that first, whether it's a hello or whatever it is, a kindness, an act of kindness or something, just take that step in order for you to make that friend, to break that barrier and indeed start, who knows, friendships that will last you a lifetime. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope you're well, and I hope that as you go into summer camps, kids, as you go into everything that you'll be doing this summer, whether it's traveling to visit relatives, whatever that you'll be doing, I hope that you have lovely time meeting new people and of course interacting with them as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And remember too, friends don't always have to be people, right? It could be a new pet, it could be a new friend of a different kind. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you. And also, you know, like just for everybody that is in the transitions in their lives, for you adults out there, remember too that sometimes we have to reach out for that. We have to reach out for that opportunity, have to reach out for that new thing. So thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you're encouraged today. And also I hope that you enjoyed that lovely book that we had together. But more stuff that we're looking forward to doing in the summer usually is visiting relatives too, or visiting people, visiting places. And tomorrow we bring back another favorite. And this one is called The Relatives Came. And this one is coming to you from Cynthia Ryland and illustrations by Stephen Gummo. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Please join us tomorrow for another exciting book. This one is a Cardicott Honor book, so you know you're in for a treat. Join us for this one and indeed for all the laughter and fun with this family coming all the way out from a far away place. Find out where. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Yes, one more time. Let us see who was with us. Oh, absolutely. Amanda Wortman, you're saying, oh, I loved this one. Baby Bia, I'm glad you did too. What a beautifully worded and illustrated story, isn't it? I just love that one too. One that I go back to a few times as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And Chrissy, thank you indeed. We all need reminders, don't we? You know, like just as we go out there, sometimes there's a little bit of a fear in reaching out for that new opportunity, in reaching out for that new thing, in reaching out for things that sometimes we may need, or indeed opportunities that we deserve. So I hope that we find that courage, we find that strength to reach out. And worst thing that will happen is that we're back in the position that we were in before we reached out, right? So thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you all for wonderful community here, for giving us this space to be here and just share and encourage and learn from each other. Always appreciate it, no matter where you're joining in us from. You know, it's just thank you for bringing your positive energy and indeed bringing your lovely selves here to Storytime. It really does warm my heart to be here with you all. Thank you so much for joining in one more time. Thank you for joining us, Sarah and Nathan, and of course Amanda West out in sunny and cool Illinois today. Thank you for being here. Pamela, Courtney, Braylon, and Chad, thank you for joining us out in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Auntie Ann, sending you love as well. And please, if you do talk to Kivaya, send her the love as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. This has been Storytime for today. I hope you enjoyed this lovely book. Glad to see that you also, you enjoyed this lovely book. Indeed, it is a beautiful one, and it was coming to you from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And you don't get to see many coming our way from Jacqueline Veissid, but this one is definitely a lovely one. Caspian Finds a Friend, and of course illustrations by Merrilees Brown. So do look out for it at your local library. Find it where you find books. But tomorrow we're back. We have special guests coming to the show, and these ones are the relatives came, and this one is coming to you from Cynthia Ryland and Stephen Gummo. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Please remember to say hello to a neighbor, check in on a neighbor. Just a little wave could go a long way. Thank you for being here. Much love to each and every one of you. And if there's anybody not feeling too well, a few knocks here, a few, just things kind of getting you down, I hope that you can shake them off and continue to get stronger, sending you healing love and indeed sending you the very best of wishes. Thank you for being here on Storytime, and I hope that today you find the courage to reach out for that opportunity that awaits you, for that opportunity that you deserve, and indeed say hello to that new friend that may be coming your way. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Much love. Sending you hugs, hugs, hugs. The warmest of hugs from me to you. Thank you. I will see you again tomorrow, God willing, right here, 7 a.m. Pacific time. But you can also catch us at 11 a.m. Pacific time. For those of you that are joining us for the recordings, we're still sending you love, 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 and kisses. Please, please let us know. Leave a message. Let us know you were here, so indeed we can say hi to you next time. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and I hope that you have a lovely Monday ahead. And of course, if yours is ending, we hope that you have a lovely night. Hopefully one like Caspian had, that is just beautiful, falling asleep, the beautiful sounds of the ocean, or indeed the beautiful lights of the twinkling stars. Thank you for being here on Storytime. Much love from me. I will see you again tomorrow for more Storytime. Much love. Bye-bye.
Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh. He brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be him. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be